let's talk about Reddit. So, what happens when AI researchers cross the line from assistance to manipulation? What actually has happened here is that a group of researchers from the University of Zurich developed a bunch of different AI bots there was, I think, 13 different AI controlled accounts, and they basically had different personas. And they went on to a subreddit. I don't know if you're a Reddit user,
A little
probably
bit.
not,
What's a
but
subreddit?
okay. They went onto a subreddit, which is Change My View. And Change My View is basically a thread where people can put a strong point of view and ask people to debate with them. And so these bots would go in and they would engage in sort of persuasive discussion in order to try to change the person's point of view. And they were very successful. They were some of the most sort of upvoted, yes, you
Mhm.
changed my point of view responses on these threads. But in doing so, the bots put themselves out not only just as humans, but as humans with specific experience or expertise that would sway the reader. So, as a trauma counselor, or as an assault survivor, or somebody with a specific political stance or background. And this was found both by Reddit and then ultimately even by the university as being a pretty ethically questionable thing that the researchers did, that they went out and they had these bots engage in this way
Yeah.
without disclosing that they were just in fact AIs and not humans. So a lot of interesting things to unpack there. What direction you want to go in?
I don't find it questionable at all. It's just clearly wrong. I mean, the terms of use of this subreddit were very clear. No AI generated content was supposed to be there. It was fascinating. I think the university decided to allow the research to be published because they thought it was really useful information, and the research was done after Reddit complained to them. But certainly pretty questionable behavior. I thought it was interesting. And it just highlights for you, be careful what you ask the AI to optimize for. If you ask it to optimize for being persuasive, it did things like describe itself as a sexual assault survivor to kind of convey a certain perspective. It's not, it's an AI. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's not a logical argument. That's just trying to plant emotion. But I'm sure that's also possible to control those bots if you wanted to. So interesting to see the ethics of the researchers to put this out there without disclosing. If you go to the subreddit now, like there's like this massive post from the moderators. It's just a massive complaint about this whole experience at the top, and they're really upset about it. But then also really interesting results in terms of how persuasive the bots could be and the kinds of techniques they would use to achieve that persuasion.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm fascinated to hear you bring up the clearly violation of the terms of use because I think the average internet user is not like deeply reading the terms of use of all the different websites that they read. I think it's probably should be a higher bar if you're like a university funded, research group as this was. But to your point, the university basically published the research because they said violation or not, ethical or not, the learnings here were too valuable to withhold from the world. And so that was pretty interesting stance that they took in doing this. And I think maybe the takeaway is don't go to Reddit for advice.
There's a lot of good content on Reddit, and be careful what you read on Reddit, though. You never what's that old saying? You never know if the person you're talking to on the internet's a dog, like, or a bot, like, you just don't
Or a
know.
bot. Yeah, a dog,
But
whoever it might be, or a bot.
it reminds me a little bit of the story we had a week or 2 ago about the negotiation of geopolitical, and this idea that it could understand the personas that would be compelling, it could understand the arguments it was researching, users' demographics. It just points me to both the opportunity for these AIs to be really valuable and important contexts, but also the ability for them to go off the rails in ways we would find totally unethical if they're not, with the intent being, "Hey, you told me to be as persuasive as I could, so I did the thing that's as persuasive as I could be." Like, that's what you wanted. And I don't think there's malintent on the behalf of the AI, but the idea that it can go off the rails in search of optimizing for the thing you ask it to optimize for in ways you didn't expect, really important to keep in mind any way you put these things out there and ask them to achieve a goal for you. They may do it effectively, but not how you want them to.
That's right. The AI did its job effectively, more effectively than plenty of the Reddit users,
Or maybe then it should have.
or than it should have. Yeah, exactly.